So our focus is going to be that India after Gandhi, China after Mao or Deng, and the contemporary Asia where the classical Asia is still alive, but in a different way that it has been understood so long. So that is going to be our focus. That is going to be our uniqueness, that we are focusing on contemporary Asia, but not strictly contemporary, because in order to know about contemporary Asia, still need to know about the classical and the traditional Asia. So that is the I mean, broadly or roughly the unique selling proposition. Now, if that is what we are trying to do, then I would like you to kind of tell us what should be our goal in setting the required courses and the not desired courses and not so desired courses and other things.
So would you be bold enough? I'm just using these words, okay? Don't take me just challenging thoughts. So would you be bold enough to call this undergrad degree in contemporary Asian studies?
Well, if there's an agreement, that can be, but
I mean, if that's what defines it.
I like this suggestion. So I think that this is the type of thing that we need to take note of, because I think this is exactly what we need to do. And I think you are right. The first is what our students are going to be able to do at the end of the program. What are the learning objectives for the program? And if the focus is truly on contemporary Asia, it should be reflected in the title of the program. But so, in terms of learning outcomes, for you who are in the business area, when you hire people, what are the skills, knowledge, and attitudes that you really want to find in your new employees? What typically is lacking when you hire people?
Yeah, I would like to respond to that from the business point of view, as Madhu said. If we are to hire a graduate of this program, the first and foremost thing we would look is the actual on ground, not the theory. What is the experience of the person? Can they speak Chinese or Japanese? Have they really traveled? Have they understand interaction? And if I send them abroad to deal with my clients or the situation, they really have lived in it or they're coming from it. And point in case is that actually the discussion here is not for Asian American students, or this is for basically American students. Mm-hmm. The point we are talking about. American students need to understand Asian cultures. And then we are developing a program. And to what kind of, background we can, how solid grounding at the undergraduate level we can give it to them, so they can internationalize the business side of the culture side of it, in addition to, the major and minor courses. That is going to be a challenge.
Yeah, I'm just going to comment on that. I mean, most of the students that I see who are taking interest in Asian Studies minor, unlike I think many other universities which I know about, they are not here in Kennesaw. The students are mostly American students, not Asian American students who are interested in Asian studies. So there has been a growing interest among American students. Rather there are no Asian American second generation Asian students in the two classes that I teach.
And in your experience, who are their employers?
Who are?
Who are their employers or employers?
Yeah, well, they are trying out Asian Studies minor, so we would like to find out who would like to employ them, and your comment is very useful for that. Yeah.
Just tag along with what Madhu and Annie has mentioned. From the business side and also from an executive search, business point of view, what the employers are looking for nowadays, especially those multinational companies, say GE, Coca-Cola, all those companies, doesn't matter how big they are or how small or medium, they all want to have a piece of pie, trying to actually find their pot of gold in the emerging market, believe it or not. So everyone wants to take a piece of it, but some haven't done it because they don't know any inroad, they don't know any connections, they don't know how to start. So to prepare the new generation to be competing or to get employed, in this tough economic market, they really have to be very prepared, not only on the societal culture of Asia, but also the business culture, and also a little bit of the language, and also a little bit of the philosophy, and even geology, and relate to land. Because if you don't know where China is founded and how they are founded and how they actually evolved over thousands of years, they wouldn't know how the tradition impact on the culture, how the culture impact the business, and how actually that will totally, define how people get into their business decisions. So knowing that, those are the areas I mentioned, I think the programs should focus on, but also they should have some hands-on experience by start doing like a exchange program, maybe live or study, a semester or a summer or something in a different country, or bring some students who actually live and breathe with the Chinese students also. So for the school, you can have some kind of exchange program. I know Kennesaw has some study abroad. Yeah, but you have to define the purpose. The students have to be clear. The reason you're going there not just for fun. You're going there for a purpose. To prepare yourself to be a global workforce in the future.
We have study abroad programs, and also our students want to do their internship. Internship at a company in the U.S. or in China, or in U.S. the company work with China. If you have this kind of opportunity, please contact us.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the students talk to me. They would like to find internship at the company.
If you have a point of contact, if there are opportunities, I'll refer to you.
And if you look here at the curriculum, we have in the major requirements, in the section that says upper division major requirements, 18 credit hours, we have one course which is internship and study abroad, it should say, or study abroad for 3 credit hours, which is one course equivalent. My question to you is, should we increase that number? And if so, should we put more emphasis on internship versus study abroad? Or should they have both? Or, if you're going to look at someone that you want to hire, are you going to look more favorably someone who spent 6 credit hours, the equivalent of 2 courses, doing an internship, or 6 credit hours doing a study abroad, or 3 credit hours for internship, 3 credit hours for study abroad? What is your sense?
It's a very difficult question to answer. Okay. The reason is that the confusion in my mind is this a job-oriented course?
Yeah.
Or is it a undergrad course, which, like many other undergrad courses, are not really aimed at a specific type of job? Going back to, I think, the comments you were making, if you look at some of the other courses that you have, which are literally aimed towards a career, a job, for many of those, these are fantastic add-ons.
Yeah.
Because something else gives a technical skill or a business skill or whatever, and this gives all of the cultural or country-specific skills, language, etc., etc. That combination is fantastic, but that's not what you're doing here, because you're saying these are not just courses that we are offering, but we are putting this into a bachelor's degree in Asian studies. Is that right? So
it is both. It is there will be an option for the students to, I think, that they can either have a double major and often double MA also has been suggested. I mean, if there is, there is also in Kennesaw we have a PhD in conflict management, so it can also complement many of the conflict management, PhD in conflict management students.
If you position it as a dual piece, then it has tremendous potential from a job perspective.
Yeah,
That's my point.
Yeah, but I'm a little hesitant to develop a program with the general idea that most students are going to do a dual degree. I think that we should encourage our students to do that, but we cannot expect the majority of them to do a double major. I think that if you look at the way we are thinking of organizing the curriculum, there would be, after the required upper division major courses, there would be upper division electives, and in that area we are kind of thinking about having different clusters.
Yeah.
And many programs on campus are organized that way, that you will have like 5, 6 core courses that are required of all the students in this degree program, and then they kind of sub-specialize in different areas. And here we're proposing, foreign language to really develop a more advanced language proficiency, or international relations, global business, history. And that part is kind of open, and that's where we also want to get your feedback, because as you noticed, we had originally included history courses in the major requirements, and then we said, well, we cannot just have too many courses in this first area. And now we're like, maybe we could have another cluster in the electives that is focused on history. But if a student does that, then they won't have the business background. And so how would that work for you guys?
Actually, let me try to answer Madhu's question. I think we are going to put too much pressure on them to come up with all these 3 sets of questions which we are asking. Especially seeing an undergraduate, like my daughter is going to be an undergraduate next year. So that kind of kid, going into the program which we are expecting them to follow and have these unders and then practical training and study abroad in a 4-year period is going to do. Most of it, what is here, is acceptable, except that we need more real-time, actual, from business point of view, the exposure to them.
Yeah.
That how do you do business in Japan? For a kid who has never been to Japan, by studying 2 courses of Japanese, do you think you can learn that? No. You have to have an interaction, you have to work with a company, or work a company like Kia or somewhere for a few months, and then you are ready for a job market. So I think internship and study abroad is a very important component, probably in junior or senior year. So maybe 2 stints of that.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Do you think a study abroad or a study abroad program with a particular focus on, say, kind of doing business or working in organizations in India or Japan, that will be helpful? So study abroad not for just a kind of a broad purpose, but not for just knowing about Indian culture or Japanese philosophy, but also about working, getting hands-on experiential training in an organization, working, which may not be a business organization, that can be also an NGO probably in Japan or China or India. Will that be kind of, what do you think about that kind of?
To me, yes, and that's a question which earlier Madhu also had, that what are you preparing them for? Are you getting them ready to go and work for UN or Kia or GE? Or a small entrepreneur,
or to do their masters.
Yeah, or to do their masters. If they want, you want to send them on a master track, this is great, right?
And I was thinking, so what about having both an internship and a study abroad required?
Sure.
The internship could be either here with a foreign company or abroad, and the study abroad obviously would have to take place abroad. And if we're talking about experiential learning, I think that might provide.
Absolutely.
Okay.
See, from our purposes, from corporate world purposes, Asia is their lab. They have to work in the lab in order to get experience. The real-time Asia they have to have that experience, 360-degree view of what it is to be there, live there, work there, interact with it. Unless they're not in the lab, they're not ready.
Yeah.